One decision, one moment, one choice that could have prevented the fall of the entire Jedi Order. When Ahsoka Tano walked away from Anakin Skywalker and the Jedi Temple, she didn't just abandon her master, she removed the last anchor holding him to the light. The bond between them had been forged in the fires of war, strengthened through countless battles where they fought as extensions of each other. But what if she never left? What if Ahsoka stayed through the Clone Wars, through the nightmares, through Palpatine's manipulation? The galaxy would have burned differently. The Empire might never have risen, and Darth Vader might never have existed. When Barriss Offee is dragged before the Council in chains, the truth becomes undeniable. Ahsoka was innocent. The Jedi Order, the guardians of peace and justice, had failed her completely. They had been so quick to doubt, so willing to believe the worst, so desperate to maintain their political standing that they threw one of their own to the wolves. Master Windu offers the traditional apology, the path back, even the rank of Jedi Knight. In the original timeline, Ahsoka sees through the hollow gesture and walks away. But in this reality, something different happens. Ahsoka looks at Anakin. She sees the cracks forming in his spirit, the way his hands tremble with barely contained rage at the Council, the darkness creeping into the corners of his eyes. She realizes something the Council is too blind to see. Anakin Skywalker is breaking, and she might be the only thing that can hold him together. During her trial, during those dark days in the Republic military prison, she had time to think. Time to understand that the Jedi Order's failures didn't invalidate the principles they were supposed to represent. Time to realize that walking away from Anakin would hurt him more than staying with a flawed institution ever could. She accepts. Not because she forgives them, not because she believes in the Council anymore, but because abandoning Anakin now would be abandoning him to something far worse than bureaucratic hypocrisy. She stays because she's seen what's lurking beneath his surface, and she refuses to let it consume him. She accepts the rank of Jedi Knight, knowing the formal ceremony will follow in the days ahead. But the decision itself is what matters. The look of relief on Anakin's face, the way his shoulders drop as tension he's been carrying for weeks finally releases, tells her she made the right choice. This single choice, this one moment of loyalty, sends shockwaves through the timeline that will reshape the fate of trillions. Palpatine feels it immediately. A tremor in the Force. His carefully constructed trap has developed a critical flaw. Anakin Skywalker was supposed to be isolated, desperate, vulnerable. Ahsoka's departure was meant to be the first in a series of betrayals that would drive Anakin toward the dark side. The Council's failure was supposed to prove to Anakin that the Jedi didn't care about him, that only Palpatine truly understood his pain. But now she's back. Now Anakin has someone who sees the Council's failures but hasn't abandoned the light. Someone who still believes in him. The Chancellor adjusts. He's been manipulating galactic events for decades. One setback won't stop him. But every conversation he has with Anakin from this point forward becomes exponentially more difficult. When Palpatine tries to plant seeds of doubt about the Jedi, Anakin now has Ahsoka to discuss them with. When he attempts to isolate Anakin with secret meetings and private conversations, Ahsoka notices her master's absences and questions them with the familiarity of someone who knows him too well to be fooled. The nightmares continue. Anakin still dreams of Padme dying in childbirth, still wakes up in cold sweats, his heart racing, the phantom sensation of losing her burning through his mind like acid. But here's where everything changes materially. Instead of hiding these visions from everyone except Palpatine, instead of letting them fester in isolation until they consume him, Anakin tells Ahsoka. He confesses his secret marriage, his fears, everything. The words pour out of him one evening in the temple gardens, under the stars of Coruscant, and for the first time since the nightmares began, he doesn't feel like he's drowning alone. Ahsoka doesn't report him to the Council. She understands attachment in ways the old Jedi never could. Her bond with Anakin, with the clones, with the people she's fought beside, has taught her that love itself isn't the enemy. But she does something Palpatine never expected. She offers practical solutions. Not because Padme is actually in medical danger, but because Anakin needs to feel like he has control, like he's taking action instead of drowning in helpless fear. She arranges for Padme to receive consultations with the Republic's finest physicians, real experts, not dark side promises. She gives Anakin a way to channel his fear into productive action. This changes everything. In the original timeline, Anakin's desperation came from feeling powerless against fate itself, helpless before a prophetic vision he couldn't prevent. Palpatine weaponized that helplessness, offering dark side powers as the only solution to an impossible problem. But Ahsoka gives Anakin something more powerful than forbidden knowledge. She gives him agency, hope, and most importantly, she reminds him he doesn't have to face his fears alone. The prophecy loses its grip on Anakin's mind, not because the danger was real and now prevented, but because he's no longer the helpless victim of fate that Palpatine needs him to be. Palpatine senses his window closing. He accelerates his plans, but acceleration means sloppiness, and sloppiness creates opportunities. In the original timeline, Ahsoka leads a small force to Mandalore alone, while Anakin is summoned back to Coruscant. The separation is deliberate, Palpatine orchestrating events to ensure Anakin is isolated when Order 66 falls. But with Ahsoka still in the Order, the Council assigns them together. Master and former Padawan, now equal knights, leading the assault as a team. Their battle coordination is legendary. They've fought beside each other for years, and they move through combat like two halves of the same warrior. They corner Maul in the throne room of Sundari. He's frantic, desperate, his yellow eyes wild with the knowledge of what's coming. He warns them about the real threat, about Palpatine, about Darth Sidious, about the trap closing around them all. In the original timeline, Ahsoka is confused, unable to fully process Maul's ravings without context. But Anakin is here now, and when Maul says Sidious will make Anakin his new apprentice, when he describes the fall that's been orchestrated, something clicks in Anakin's mind like tumblers in a lock finally aligning. The secret meetings with Palpatine, the constant attention, the special treatment, the way the Chancellor always had time for him when no one else did, the philosophical discussions about the nature of power, the subtle critiques of the Jedi that always seemed so reasonable, the way Palpatine always seemed to know about his nightmares before Anakin mentioned them, as if the Chancellor was somehow aware of disturbances in Anakin's emotional state that should have been private. Anakin has been around Palpatine his entire career. His Force sensitivity, however unfocused and untrained in detection, has been sensing the dark side presence all along. He just never consciously acknowledged what he was feeling. Now, with Maul's words giving shape to those unconscious impressions, everything crystallizes into horrifying clarity. They capture Maul alive. Anakin insists on restraining him with maximum security, advanced force suppression technology, military-grade restraints, constant guard rotation. Not to imprison him, but to preserve him as a witness. Because if Maul is right about Palpatine, they'll need proof. They'll need testimony from someone who knows the Sith Lord's identity, someone who served under him. Maul, sensing the shift in Anakin's energy, actually laughs, a broken, bitter sound. He spent years trying to destroy Sidious, and now these Jedi might actually succeed where he failed. The fleet prepares to return to Coruscant. But this time, there's no Order 66 transmission. Palpatine doesn't trigger the command because he doesn't know his plan has been compromised. He's waiting for Anakin to arrive alone, vulnerable, desperate, ready to fall. He has no idea Anakin is coming back with answers instead of questions, with allies instead of isolation, with evidence instead of blind faith. Anakin doesn't go to Palpatine. He goes to the Council. With Ahsoka beside him and Maul's testimony recorded and secured, he presents everything: the manipulation, the secret meetings, Maul's identification of Sidious, and his own Force-assisted realization of what he'd been sensing all along. The room falls silent. Mace Windu, who had advocated for Ahsoka's expulsion and whose trust in protocol nearly destroyed the Order, realizes the magnitude of his failure. He had been so focused on rules and appearances that he missed the Sith Lord orchestrating everything from within the government they were sworn to protect. The Council had been blind, and that blindness almost cost them everything. For a long moment, the Council sits in silence. Then Yoda speaks, his voice heavy with ancient sorrow and hard-won wisdom. The Jedi Order failed because it became rigid, disconnected from the Force itself, convinced of its own wisdom. They should have listened to their members instead of dismissing concerns. They should have trusted the Force over politics. Ahsoka stayed despite their failure, and now she's brought them evidence that might save everything. It's a humbling moment for masters who had forgotten humility. Yoda contacts Bail Organa in the Senate, one of the few senators they know they can trust completely. Within hours, a small team of Jedi, Mace Windu, Yoda, Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan, along with Senator Organa and a specialized security detachment loyal to the Republic rather than to Palpatine personally, approach the Chancellor's office. They don't go for arrest, they go for proof. This has to be done correctly, legally, with evidence that will hold up before the Senate and the galaxy. The security team, equipped with specialized scanning equipment designed to detect both technological surveillance devices and Sith alchemy residue, sweeps the office methodically while Palpatine is detained in a late Senate session. They find it all: the hidden chambers behind false walls, the ancient Sith artifacts radiating dark side energy like beacons, the encrypted communications with separatist leaders, documentation of manipulated military contracts. But the most damning evidence comes through the Force itself. Yoda and the others can feel the dark side permeating every surface. Some truths can't be hidden from Force sensitives actively searching for them. When Palpatine returns to his office and finds them waiting, surrounded by the evidence of his decades-long conspiracy laid bare, he knows immediately that the game is over. His emergency trigger for Order 66 has been secured by Republic intelligence. His communications are being traced in real time, revealing the full network of his conspiracy spreading across the galaxy. His office is surrounded by Senate security loyal to Bail Organa. The Chancellor has been compromised beyond any possibility of recovery. He could fight. He could unleash decades of accumulated dark side power, kill half the Jedi in the room, escape into the Undercity. But Palpatine is a strategist above all else. Without Order 66, without the element of surprise, without Anakin's fall to make him invincible through the birth of Vader, he's just one Sith Lord against an entire Order now fully alert to his presence. Even winning this battle leads to losing the war. The battle is brief and brutal. Palpatine's power is immense, but 5 Jedi Masters, working in perfect concert, fueled by righteous purpose rather than fear or anger, are too much even for him. Mace Windu's Varpad channels the dark side energy back at its source. Yoda absorbs and redirects Force lightning with centuries of hard-won experience. Anakin and Ahsoka fight as they always have, perfectly synchronized, each protecting the other's vulnerabilities, moving like 2 parts of a single weapon. Obi-Wan's defensive mastery creates openings for others to exploit. His Soasu form an impenetrable wall that Palpatine's attacks break against. When Palpatine falls, run through by multiple blades simultaneously after Mace Windu's final strike shatters his defenses, the dark side presence that has hung over Coruscant for decades evaporates like morning fog in sunlight. Jedi across the galaxy feel it, like a weight lifting from their shoulders, like breath returning to suffocated lungs, like waking from a nightmare they didn't know they were having. The Clone Wars end within weeks, without Palpatine orchestrating both sides, pulling the strings of Republic and Separatist alike. The Separatist leadership fractures immediately. Many surrender once they realize the manipulation. Some are captured in targeted raids. Others flee to the Outer Rim, where they'll spend years in exile before eventually being hunted down or dying in obscurity. The clones, whose inhibitor chips were designed to activate only on Palpatine's specific Order 66 command, which never came, remain loyal to the Jedi who have fought beside them. A full Republic investigation uncovers the chip's existence during post-war demobilization medical screenings, and they're safely removed, though the rapid aging process built into clone genetics continues its inexorable countdown toward an early death. The Republic faces a crisis of legitimacy. Their Chancellor was a Sith Lord. Their war was manufactured. Their democracy was corrupted from within for decades. Bail Organa leads the emergency Senate session that establishes an interim collective leadership. Mon Mothma and Rio Chuchi join him in a triumvirate overseeing immediate stability measures. Emergency elections are scheduled. Term limits are debated and eventually implemented. Constitutional reforms are proposed to prevent any single leader from accumulating such power again. The Senate that emerges from this crisis is smaller, more accountable, humbled by how close they came to losing everything to tyranny. The Jedi Order faces its own reckoning with equal seriousness. The Council expands dramatically, from 12 Masters to 21 members, including younger knights, former Padawans, even Temple Guards who had protected the Order from without while watching its internal decay. Diversity of thought is no longer seen as weakness, but as essential strength. Different perspectives, different experiences, different approaches to the Force, all are valued. Ahsoka, who saw the Order's failures clearly and chose to stay anyway, becomes the youngest council member in history. Maul is transferred to a maximum security prison world under Republic custody. Some call for his execution. Others argue he should be studied to understand the Sith better. The Council refuses both options. Maul will live, imprisoned, but treated with dignity under constant Force suppression and heavy guard, a witness to the Sith's final defeat. It's a kind of punishment worse than death for the former Sith apprentice. Watching the Order he tried to destroy not only survive but flourish, while he wastes away in isolation knowing his revenge brought about the very outcome he sought to prevent. Anakin never falls. The prophecy of the Chosen One is fulfilled not through destruction and redemption, not through the fall into darkness that everyone feared, but through choice. By trusting Ahsoka, by confiding in her rather than drowning in fear alone, by acting before desperation consumed him, Anakin brings balance to the Force in a way no one expected. He destroys the Sith as foretold. He preserves the Jedi. He proves that attachment and love, properly understood and not twisted by fear, don't lead to darkness, isolation and fear do. The prophecy was always about choice, and Anakin made the right one. Padme gives birth to twins, Luke and Leia Skywalker. The delivery is difficult, as twin births often are, the labor lasting through the night. But with proper medical preparation, expert physicians, and monitoring throughout the pregnancy, she survives, more than survives, she thrives. The children are healthy, powerful in the Force, inheriting their father's immense potential without his trauma, his darkness, his fear. They grow up knowing both parents, learning from both Jedi wisdom and political service, embodying the balance their father achieved. Years pass. Anakin and Ahsoka continue their partnership, now as equals on the Council. They become the bridge between old and new, honoring tradition while embracing change. The galaxy watches as the Order that nearly fell transforms into something stronger. The galaxy is saved. The Empire never rises. Alderaan is never destroyed. Its beautiful mountains and peaceful cities continue to thrive. The Death Star is never built. Its planet-killing horror never inflicted on the galaxy. The rebellion never needs to form because there's nothing to rebel against. Billions who would have died under Imperial tyranny live full lives, have children, build futures. The Republic military gradually reduces from its wartime peak as clone veterans age rapidly into retirement. Honored for their service, but not fully replaced. It becomes a smaller peacekeeping force rather than an engine of conquest. All because one person refused to walk away. All because Ahsoka Tano understood that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply stay when everyone else leaves. If you've enjoyed this journey through an alternate Star Wars timeline, there are more untold stories waiting to be discovered. Join our growing community of Star Wars enthusiasts who believe in exploring these what-if moments that could have changed the galaxy far, far away. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and activate notifications to catch our next alternative Star Wars story. Each tale offers a new perspective on the characters we love and the choices that define them. Remember to share your thoughts in the comments below. What other pivotal moments in the Star Wars saga would you like to see explored differently? Your ideas might inspire our next adventure. May the Force be with you, always.